time for Dave 101.
Now, I know over the course of this show, many of you have heard me discuss this topic, but it's time to get a little bit more in depth with it. And that is proof. What is proof? Look, for many of us, proof is different. Your proof is different than mine. It's just like witnessing a car accident. I'm going to see something completely different than what you are going to record in your own memory. Every field that we have here has their own proof. Proof of Sasquatch, proof that it's a monkey, proof that it is a supernatural type being, proof of UFOs, proof of alien abduction. However, what we see in the UFO community right now, especially, and that's kind of where I'm going to focus on, is the idea of we don't have proof. There are people out there who are sick and tired of anecdotal evidence. They don't want the stories anymore. They want the evidence. Evidence such as video, quality video, not something blurry that you can't tell if it's a UFO, a bug, or even a Chinese lantern. And for those people, they are right. They are absolutely right. We need more. But here's the problem. If you put out quality evidence, this field will absolutely rip you apart. Take, for instance, the Patterson-Gimlin film of Sasquatch. Now, I know we're talking UFOs here, but I'm going to bring this up. It's been over 50 years, and the Gimlin family and the Patterson family are still haunted by that Bigfoot video. Not because of the Sasquatch. No, not at all. It's the community around them who calls them liars, cheaters, fakers, suit makers. And the support gets drowned out by the skeptics and the trolls that just want to try and bring everything down. We need to be able to be a little bit more accepting of anecdotal evidence. If we're going to conduct an opinion poll here on whether or not things should be counted, we should be doing it the exact same way as a court of law. Now, not many of us are lawyers. Not many of us have that type of experience. But we know that the court of law, even though they still get some things wrong, and the odd time convict an innocent person, the majority of the time, they are right. The majority of time, they can accept eyewitness accounts, along with that shady, grainy video. I mean, look, we can take a clear shot of the moon, yet every bank in North America and probably the world still uses the worst security cameras ever. Yet that footage is good enough to help commit and convict somebody of a robbery. Why don't we hold that as a standard right here in the UFO community? No, instead, we want to break people down. We want to call them liars. We want to call them fakers, cheaters, whether it's for publicity, podcasts, you name it. Maybe even money. Lord knows there isn't a lot of money in this field. But we do it because we love it. The idea that proof needs to be a clear video doesn't cut it. Proof being a clear photograph doesn't cut it. We've seen that with the videos that we have received over the last couple of years regarding UFOs. Now, whether you like or dislike the To the Stars Academy, and I was very, very much and staunch against the TTSA, their videos were good enough for me to try and put things together. I liked their videos. In fact, in one of the videos, I have a listener named Joe who caught something that looked exactly similar to one of the gimbal films right over his house, clear photo. Does that mean it's faked? Are they the same craft? Now, that doesn't tell us whether it's UFO, as in from aliens, or whether it's a United States Air Force or Black Project experiment. But as long as it's a UFO, we can call it that. But we always demand more. Do we know what that more is? I remember I have a ghost picture that this little known paranormal investigator in Ontario said, that thing's fake. And I said, no, it's not. And we got into an online argument, which I shouldn't have, because that was a waste of time. And he said, did you send it anywhere? I said, yes. I've had some very incredible people look at this photo and they claim it's real. Because he didn't know who those people were. David Weatherly, Butch Witkowski, to name two. He said, I'm the only one who can determine whether or not this is real. So until you show me it, I don't believe you. It's fake. That's what we're dealing with. That's exactly what we're dealing with in the entire phenomena. That is what we need to stop. But look, the skeptics and the people who are sick and tired of anecdotal evidence do have very strong reasoning to be sick of it. Why? Too many people recording CGI. You go on YouTube, at least 98% of the videos there are faked or hoaxed. Why? Because people want clicks. They want their posts on social media like Instagram, TikTok. It's all for popularity and stature in social media. Social media is what has ruined the actual proof. And it's terrible because it's leading a lot of people down a road that they don't need to go down. We need to be a little bit more believable, but we also need to be a little bit more skeptical with what is put in front of us. We can't believe everything that we see right in front of us. We have to have a discerning mind on what is real and what is fake. Your own experiences, you have to try and write them down. You have to try and bring them to as much as you can of painting a picture so that way somebody else can understand what you saw. And you have to stay away from places like YouTube, Twitch, Odyssey, wherever it may be, BitChute, Rumble, any of those video places, because the fakers are all over the place. They don't care about UFOs. CGI is becoming so realistic, it's hard to tell what is real and what is fake anymore. All right. Bigfoot always has some sort of suit, and those people are getting 35,000, 50,000, 100,000, a million views. Do you know what you get paid for a video that gets a million views per month? You get a lot of money. And that's why they do it. But what it has done is it's turned a very good and smart phenomena and researchers in phenomena into highly skeptical, overzealous, and unbelieving people. And it's too bad. Because if you can't trust the anecdotal evidence, if you can't trust the videos unless you shoot them, if you can't trust the photographs because you didn't take it, if you can't trust the audio from paranormal investigation, then what do you have? You have absolutely nothing. I try and see the silver lining in all of this. That's what we do here. We tell those stories. We want to hear those stories, those firsthand accounts of people having some amazing experiences. I'm just as enthralled in hearing somebody's story the same way as I am and was 7 years ago when I started this show. People want to tell their stories. People want to be believed on what has happened to them. We have to give them that opportunity. However, in a community that is so rough and tough, and it doesn't matter whether you're on Facebook in an experiencers group, or you are on Twitter, or wherever it may be, or even you get invited onto a podcast, there's always going to be someone who tries to break it down and tries to ruin your spirit. What for? Why do we need or why do we think of the idea that we need to attack people because you don't believe their story? It makes no sense. I personally have been called a liar a number of times about my own experiences because people either A, don't want to believe me, or B, they don't believe in the phenomena, or C, they think I'm doing it for money. I can tell you right now, without my experiences, there would be no spaced out radio. Do you think that I enjoy working 16 hours a day, my daytime job, and then night moonlighting in the position in my studio in my house? I can tell you right now, I'm not getting rich off of it. I'm just covering my bills. But that's for another day, another story. I'm not complaining because I enjoy what I do. And I have a very supportive background ahead of me and behind me that keep me moving. The fans ahead of me, my family and friends behind me. That's why we do what we do. It's not about the numbers, although the numbers do help you grow. It's about enjoying the experiences and talking to people about what they have eyewitnessed. We're allowed to enjoy this field. We're allowed to believe what we want to believe, and we're allowed to be just as cordial if we don't believe the story. Look, I have ran around a number of fakers on this show. People who have pulled the wool right over my eyes. A guy thinking a UFO is a street lamp, or a street lamp a UFO. Another guy who said that men in black would save him from being chased around by the government officials. And aliens would do that as well. You got to have a thick skin. You have to realize that there's a lot of people out there who are just doing this for their 5, 10, 12, 15 minutes of fame. But for the majority of people out there, they are there and they are here because they want answers to what happened to them. We should not be so harsh on the critique, and we should be a little bit more open and letting our ears do the listening before we start calling people liars, fakers, and cheats. And this is why I ask you, what is proof? Because everyone's proof is different. That's your Dave 101 for tonight. And on YouTube, if you want to leave a comment below after this is posted, we'd really appreciate it. Get your opinion, your thoughts.